Hello and welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. I'm your host, the Whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and this is Black MINDZ News. Black MINDZ News is to report, articulate, transmit, communicate, insinuate, develop, investigate, unveil, decode, spread the news, whether it's by news, video, website, or quotes from publications. As I articulate this information, I accept the creative universe, be here, heart, soul, mind, and spirit, because why? The truth don't need no partner. As a descendant of the greatest people who created this place that we call the United States, we, the foundational black Americans, the bloodline historical lineage, the historical people known as slaves, we who call ourselves BADOS, Black American Descendant of Slaves. Some say Black African Descendant of Slaves. Others say ADOS, American Descendant of Slaves. We, the today's children, offspring, and present generation, we give honor to our ancestors. You know what the motto of my show is? I'm never gonna tell you what I heard. I'm only gonna tell you what I know. Today's date is October 24th, 2019. Did you hear? Well, it seems like one of the legends, big man of the NBA, decided he's going to invest his money into let's say, a corporation. But the problem that might be, and again, some people may look at why, well, you, Mr. Blow Your Mind, delve into a subject that may be dealing with another brother. Well, it's not so much going at my brother's neck, it's just the fact that what is the real purpose behind it? Is it really everything that is presented to you, or was this being used on another avenue? Well, again, stay tuned. As again, Black MINDZ News Report will bring to you on this topic, this subject, and these news reports. Stay tuned for this broadcast. Hey, how's y'all doing? Again, this is your host, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and this is Black MINDZ News. First and foremost, I want to say what's good to my fam, subscribers, old and new. Thank you for your participation, your clicking onto this today's show. I want to thank each and every one of you kindly for you pressing the button. Passerbys, if you should happen to pass by, due to the simple fact you either like the thumbnail, you like the title of the show, welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. Again, we've been in the business for 7 years. You could get $250,000, 50,000, 30,000, 20,000, you name it. We was getting it. Some video I did about April 1st of 2014 rubbed a lot of people in some kind of way. And ever since that day, they've been going at my neck to make sure that this show gets off and no one hears what we talk about here, because what we do is we just touch the news and we just give it to you like a TI is. Now, I seen, as you see at the moniker, is talking about, an individual that many of us became acquainted with due to the simple fact that in the era of the time, he was so dominant that was basically a man among boys, doing things that of the modern generation have not seen, and became a first name celebrity, and his legacy grew as time went on. After getting through a position to get companionship, he ended up getting with all the pieces together, Phil Jackson, Kobe Bryant, and finally gets into the championship, right? And so the legacy goes on. It goes on to other ventures, Miami, Cleveland, and so forth, and then end up retiring. And now a lot of people see this individual now as a sportscaster, right? News anchor, sportscaster, right? And so as BADOS, we look at when we see positions of our people obtaining certain things and reaching back and helping. Never will there be any criticism on behalf of that. Never will Mr. Blow Your Mind sit around and actually counting somebody's pocket, money in their pocket. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm just trying to figure out that, again, based on what you're about to see, and then I'll come back after that, but I'm going to give you a rendition. I'm going to put the pieces together in the period of time that I have allotted, and then afterwards I will come and disseminate, from my opinion, what I see, and then we have some questions we just got to ask. So, ain't no need to talk no more about it. Let me go ahead and get it spied up, get it going. So, let me go ahead and start off with this here, and I should be back. Let's see. Is everything in order? Let me make sure everything is in order. Look like everything is in order. Everything in order? Everything in order? All right, so we're going to go ahead and get it going, and I'll be back after this rendition.
Out of that protest by Colin Kaepernick, 49ers quarterback knelt instead of standing during the national anthem at last night's game. He was not alone. ABC's Kana Whitworth was there and joins us now from San Diego. Good morning, Kana.
Yeah, George, good morning. One of Colin Kaepernick's teammates joined him in taking a knee, and a Seattle Seahawks player also didn't stand for their national anthem. But this morning, Kaepernick says he's willing to make real change and plans on donating $1 million to charities that he's been working with to help end racial inequality.
For the land and of the free.
Overnight, San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick refusing to stand during the national anthem again. This time, he took a knee right behind hundreds of service members being honored on Military Appreciation Night. As the crowd and players stand, you can see Kaepernick kneeling on the sideline. Teammate Eric Reed joining him.
Going to stand. And he's receiving heavy boos here.
The crowd booing every time he took a snap.
He's entitled to his opinion. We fought for that. I just think he's a jerk.
And now the quarterback sparking new controversy for wearing these socks showing police officers as pigs. Those scandalous socks drawing criticism from law enforcement officials across the country. Police in Vermont tweeting, "Wealthy, privileged person's free speech dehumanizes an entire group of human beings." Sound familiar, Kaepernick? The socks that were worn, did those not seem negative?
No, that was, once again, we have cops that are murdering people. We have cops in the SFPD that are blatantly racist. And those issues need to be addressed.
Players from other teams like Jeremy Lane from Seattle are joining Kaepernick in his seated stand, begging the question, how far will this go?
At this point, I think it will continue to be taking a knee. As far as how long this goes, I'm not sure.
I asked Kaepernick if he plans on taking up the San Francisco Police Association on their invite to visit the academy, and he says yes, adding that he's concerned about racism within the department, saying that some bad cops are giving all cops a bad name. Amy.
All right, Kana, thank you.
Papa John's is apologizing for comments made by its CEO, John Schnatter. He blamed sluggish pizza sales on NFL players kneeling during the national anthem. Earlier this month, he said the protests have hurt his company. Papa John's is a major NFL sponsor and advertiser. The company released a statement saying it supports, quote, the players' movement to create a new platform for change and that it is open to ideas from all.
There's legal aspects to it, and we also want to be careful in thinking through
As the University of Louisville reviews its legal agreement with John Schnatter, some football players want Papa John's name off the football stadium. On Twitter, sophomore wide receiver Seth Dawkins tweeted, quote, "We need to change the name of the stadium ASAP. I'm not here for it," end quote. Senior wide receiver Jalen Smith agreed, tweeting he doesn't support the name, quote, "at all," end quote. U of L's president says she's disappointed with Schnatter's use of the N-word.
Disappointment for us, disappointment for him, that's what he would say, and disappointment that at this day and age, unfortunately, that's something that was said.
Ben DePuti says she's working with the university's legal team to find out what options they have when it comes to the name on the stadium.
These are contractual agreements with the company as well as him, so that's why I don't have a quick answer for you. We'll have to really take a look at it.
Across the river, Papa John's legacy is also taking a hit.
And I'm not going to allow that name with those comments to be attached to anything in the city of Jeffersonville.
The Jeffersonville mayor removed Schnatter's picture from the wall of hometown heroes. His name was also removed from Nahan Fieldhouse. Schnatter pledged to give $800,000 to save it. On Thursday, the mayor says he sent back a $400,000 check Schnatter had given.
The $800,000 gift to the city of Jeff is enormous. But the city of Jeff's worth more than $800,000. It's not for sale.
What do you think about that, Shaq? You heard Heather's last story.
I mean, to each his own. It's something I wouldn't do. You know, his comments were there are injustices. There have always been injustices. You know, me personally, I would probably go about it a different way. You know, my question is, what happened last year? How come you didn't decide to do this last year or the year before that or the year before that? So I don't know, Colin, but again, to each his own. I don't really have a say on it, but I would never do that. My father was a military man, and, you know, he protected this country. Uncles are in law enforcement. You know, they go out and work hard every day. Just, you know, other ways to get your point across.
So you're an African American. You're an African American, and a lot of people feel as though, from your perspective, you should be standing with Colin Kaepernick, but you also are pro-military and pro-cop. Can you be both?
Yes, I can be both. Again, you know, my thing is, you know, you have to enter onto the scene one way. You know, people like Muhammad Ali and Bill Russell, they were one way their whole career. You can't show us something and then go to another just because of, you know, certain issues. Again, I'm aware of all the issues, but, you know, my question is, how come you didn't do it last year? Or how come you didn't do it when you first entered the NFL? Again, I don't know, Colin. To each his own, you know. He has his, you know, it's his, you know, constitutional right to do that, but I would never do that.
The man who needs no introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. He's an NBA All-Star, movie star, DJ. He does it all. He's got a brand new project he's going to talk about with us. The one and only Shaq. Come on. See you again.
How are you?
I'm doing great. You know, we dug into the archives, pulled up this picture of you. Check this out. LSU days. Shaq back at LSU. What would you tell your younger self from what you know now?
I would say continue to be a leader, not a follower. Continue to do things in the community. Continue to make people smile, and continue to beat Michael Strahan at every competition that we have. He cheated me 3 times. Yes, he did.
At some point, you're going to realize I did not cheat you 3 times. You just will not beat me. But you know, you do all these things, man. You talk about always being the best, always being a leader. You are a leader because during the day you're Shaq, but at night you're DJ Diesel. And you just signed up. Yes. You just signed up for 2 big events. So you're going to do Lollapalooza, and you're also going to be, what is it? It's Shaq's Funhouse in Miami later this month. Yeah, so what made you go from basketball and all the other things you do to being a DJ at night?
So for me, it's my game 7. Because when I retired, I couldn't get that feeling back. Even if I watch a certain game, I still couldn't get the feeling back. So for me, it's about going out, entertaining the crowd. It's a game 7. You know how it is in the championship game, down by a touchdown, everybody's going crazy, they pay tickets to see you money. You want to give them a show. So for me, it's just all about, you know, giving these young kids a show, and we just go out and bang our heads and jump up and down and come home.
Get them off their feet.
Yes.
What is one song that has to make the DJ set list?
Well, I just did a song with Little John and Nightmares called Bang, but my go-to song, especially for this beautiful crowd here, would have to be Love Shack.
Love Shack. Oh.
Love Shack in a little love places.
Together.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
And you have another big project that's coming up right now. You deal with a big company, but we need pizza to explain exactly what it is. So come on, bring this out. Bring out the pizza. There we go. So tell us all about this.
Well, I've been named as an official board member of Papa John's.
Wow. Congratulations.
The first African American member that's been asked to join the board because listen, everyone loves pizza and pizza loves everyone.
Yeah, that is true.
That's it.
But everyone knows. But the company, the former CEO stepped down because of some racist comments that he had made. So what made you want to get involved with a company that's been involved in some controversy like this?
Well, one, let it be known that that's not acceptable in the world we live today. Second of all, they're under new management. Jeff Smith, chairman of the board, and Steve Ritchie, CEO. Mm-hmm. And we have two main priorities. One, they want to diversify their leadership. That's why they asked me to be on the board. And second of all, we want to create a culture where everyone is accepted, loved, and rewarded. And when I did this deal, I was thinking about the 800 franchisees. Mm-hmm. Just think about it. They're my neighbors, they're your neighbors. These are people that work hard, they put up their capital, they did nothing wrong. Yeah. So
I tell you what, man. Congratulations being the board, and I do love that message that you're bringing to the table. Continue to lead, my friend. Continue to lead.
Guess
What?
You get free pizza.
I get free pizza.
For the rest
That's
of
what
your
I'm
life.
talking about.
Shaquille O'Neal to bring Papa John's to every HBCU campus. You know I'm going to say that again. Shaquille O'Neal to bring Papa John's to every HBCU campus. This story was done October 21st, 2019. Coming out of, it looks like, the BLAK Enterprise, and this is how it reads. Former NBA champion Shaquille O'Neal has partnered with Miles College, a liberal arts institution in Alabama, to launch an initiative that aims to bring a Papa John's to every historical black college and university campus. The four-time NBA champion joined the Papa John's board of directors earlier this year after the company's founder, John Shatter, resigned last year following reports that he used a racial slur during a company conference call and criticized NFL players kneeling in protest during an earnings call. O'Neal secured $8.5 million in cash and stock options in the deal. The NBA legend also invested in 9 Papa John's franchise restaurants in Atlanta. HBCUs have been pivotal in the development of young minds, influential in highlighting the history and culture of African Americans, and effectively provided a means for academic success, said the NBA Hall of Famer, business leader, education, and philanthropist in a statement. It is in these great halls of these wonderful institutions that students saw their potential magnified and exemplified. Shaq also summoned the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in announcing the new initiative. Martin Luther King Jr. said, if you want to move people, it has to be towards a vision that's positive for them, that taps important values, that gets them something they desire, and it has to be presented in a compelling way so that they feel inspired to follow. Today, I ask you to catch the same vision that the noble founders of HBCUs held in carving out a venue to education, independence, and success. Join me and President Bobby Knight of the Great Miles College as we move towards a business initiative that will open avenues of opportunities for our HBCUs. The sports commentator is scheduled to join Miles College President Bobby Knight, on October 26th of the campus of Miles College Student Activity Center in Fairfield, Alabama. Founded in 1898, Miles College is located in metropolitan Birmingham and one of only 39 HBCUs to have the designation of a United Negro College Fund institution. Miles College is honored to partner with Shaquille and welcome him to our historic and beautiful campus. Shaquille is a skilled investor, savvy entrepreneur, and marketing and branding genius. Said Knight, this partnership tells the world that this is Miles College Day and this is Miles College time. To show America that HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, can join icons like Shaquille and launch businesses, ventures on our campuses like a Papa John's. Following his career in the league, O'Neal established a strong business track record as an investor, restaurateur, and franchise owner. He currently owns a Krispy Kreme donut franchise in Atlanta and previously owned 27 Five Guy burgers and fry franchises. In addition, he is the founder and owner of Big Chicken, a fast casual fried chicken restaurant in Las Vegas, and Shaquille's, a fine dining restaurant in Los Angeles. In addition, Shaq is also a minority owner of the Sacramento Kings NBA franchise. All right, so we are back, right? So based on what I did with the montage of different videos of news clips was just to give those who might be misinformed or are not up to par as to what took place with the whole scenario as we're talking about here, as Shaq is seeming to be on the team now with Papa John's. And so, looking at the history of Papa John's recently, as of 2017, we see that the founder of Papa John's, John Shatner, had, put his foot in his mouth a couple times, and the stocks of the company plummeted. And so some of the things that seem to be said is looking like they're trying to focus more on the racial aspect than it was more than just the racial slurs, they say, that happened at a conference. So what we see is that, as I showed you on the marquee there, right? Let me go ahead and put that up there for you. Right? You see Shaquille swooping in, trying to save, I got an X on the Papa John's, right? And the reason why that is because not just myself and others, I remember when TMZ had ran up on, I think it was Thomas Jones. If any of y'all might have seen it. I can't put that up to the simple fact that it's TMZ. But Thomas Jones had ripped Papa John's because he said that potentially he just believed that the pizza just sucked, right? And there's a lot of people who think about Papa John's and it's not like really the top on your list. It's like it's the only thing if it's, kind of convenient or, because I don't think they got Domino. They ain't got the 30 minutes or, they don't got none of that, right? And plus, they kind of expensive, right? Talking about the dipping sauce and all, what I'm saying? It ain't like it's great. It's not great pizza. We know that. But again, all right, so we see that there was Thomas Jones who came out and said some things, right? There was another brother that said something too. What was that brother's name? I remember there was another brother. What was that brother's name? It was another brother that told Shaq about him coming out and speaking. I think it was John Carlos had warned Shaq over the criticism of Kaepernick, right? It was John Collins as well. And so what we see is that I also played you the rendition of, again, you got John Shatner, who is the founder of Papa John's Pizza. And accordingly, what ended up happening was a phone conference that had take place where his backlash that he was getting, because primarily before you get to the racial slur, you have to remember that he made the statement as to, you had the Colin Kaepernick situation where he was kneeling, and because Papa John's is supposed to be the official support of the NFL, or it is considered as the official pizza for NFL, based on the kneeling that was taking place by Colin Kaepernick and the rest of those that were participating in the kneeling as taking the stance, John Shatner believed that the business was being hurt, that people were not participating because, again, there was a line being drawn. Let's look at it from that position. The line was being drawn. Those people who were for the kneeling were not buying Papa John's pizza, and those who were saying they was in opposition to you kneeling because you are affiliated with the NFL, which means you was affiliated with them kneeling, and if we're protesting that, then so business was plummeting for Papa John's. Now, again, we don't know how good. Again, maybe he had some good years, but again, options is, as good as your options, right? Let's just say, for instance, you might be living in a community where the options of choice of restaurants are plentiful. Or you could live in areas where you live secluded, isolated, where crime is high. Delivery man is like a stagecoach and will get his ass stuck up if he rode his ass by and somebody catch him. So maybe your options is not as much. And then again, according to the proximity you are to these restaurants, whether they will deliver to you or not. And so again, just according, maybe you can get Papa John's to come to your house, paying all that, a lot of money for a couple wings that they ain't really cooked. But you know what I'm saying? And then the pizza, just maybe the time, but you know what I'm saying? But it's right anyway, right? So, people say just the sauce, the pizza. Anyway, maybe it's not your go-to. And so maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it was just the simple fact, not so much of just the protest, maybe just the simple fact that your product is what people, taste is. Especially because when you think about some of these franchises, let's say a Pizza Hut, a Papa John's, a Domino's, you go to a corner neighborhood pizzeria, that pizza, to me, for all the pizza I done taste, I believe that those places taste way better than these franchises. That's just me speaking, right? So anyway, going back to the point is that John Shatner has spoke out in a negative way, saying that the NFL should do something about them kneeling, which means he didn't give no cent shit about what the players were kneeling about, and it was all about business. Now we get that in business, that you in business to make profit. And these players who were the pieces of another business are objecting to something that, again, collectively, when you're seeing that the partnership between Papa John's and the NFL, and how people felt like that the NFL had the good old boys network, and so it was synonymous that you see that somebody who's in partnership, and then when you hear, or as I read in some of the articles, that they talked about how John Shatner, who grew up in Indiana and grew up around racists, according to he said, he grew up around them, and he would see that black people were getting drugged by cars to their death and things like that. So he had a first-hand see about what it is about racism, about how that is going against with black folks, right? And so here was a situation that, again, Colin Kaepernick, a lot of people speculated as why he did it. And again, you can debate whether, it was legitimate or was it an opportunity, but was the situation about what was being said, was it real? Is it not? Because again, if you are an avid watcher of this show, is Black Minds News, you know that we deal with a lot of those type of news articles of situations, Tatiana Jefferson, and we got the Botham Jean, and then we got, Philando Castile, we got Michael Brown, and we got Tamir Rice, and we got plethora, many of those type of stories. And so the protest that was made by the black players of the NFL was, again, in unison as to the stance that what Colin Kaepernick was talking about, right? And so based on what he said, he took the backlash because you are not so much as, again, okay, you trying to say, hey, bosses of the NFL, you need to get them, okay, it was plantation talk. You need to get them niggas, get them off that goddamn ground, and get them out there getting that football so I can sell these goddamn pizzas, right? That's what he said. Get them niggas up out there and get them some money. Put all that damn bullshit, whatever the fuck that shit is. This ain't the place and the time. We don't care about that. This is about football and making this money. But the players took the opportunity that they said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to stand behind him. But again, it wasn't 100%. There was, sporadics of those who kneeled and those who stood. And then it was just the whole big controversy of it. So he, later on, that it came out in the Forbes, that he had a conference call and it was talking about the backlash. And so what he said in that conversation, because they didn't say what he said, and again, until you do the reading, then you would know what it was being said. So we see that he had said that he kind of just, again, as I'm saying, he's downplaying the significance of the NFL statement that he said. That's what he did. Originally, he was trying to downplay in this conversation that about, all I said was just the fact that, hey man, get these guys so they can, again, not understand the significance. Again, it's two sides to this. There's the people who were talking about patriotism for the country, and there's the people who are still part of that, but then have a different history. And then again, the relevancy of what was being stated as to the objection that, let's say, Colin Kaepernick made. And so his backlash on that and the slumping in the stocks, he had the conversation and he said this statement. He said, Colonel Sanders called black niggers, He said, Colonel Sanders, fried chicken, KFC. He said, Colonel Sanders called black people niggers, and he never got publicly called or got backlash for that. Now, again, when was Colonel Sanders living? At that particular time, we didn't have Black Minds News and others of social media. We had the outlets that were, your institutions of what you say was, again, the America news. But again, it has its own agenda and it's only going to display according to what it wants to. So whatever that you had a question or something of seriousness, you never seen them come and talk to black people about their perspective. They will come to ask you about, this weather today, it's going to rain today. They will do some shit like that, or come to your ass and talk about something about sports and shit like that. Or, ask the worst person that they recorded about a situation, about a fire, something, and they chuckling and laughing because of something that, I was getting some cheeseburgers and I was going down there and then I seen it and then I went in there and then they said a fire, right? And that kind of stuff. And they say, "Ooh, good, it was a fire." And they said a fire. "Ooh, not today." Y'all, they would play that kind of shit, but nothing as a sense of, again, coming from the perspective that we as black minds will come from, right? And so in this day and age, we have the platforms. A lot of us are being suppressed. Again, I am the most hated show on the Black Corner YouTube. And so based on that, you don't get a chance for us to scrutinize. If Colonel Sanders was being this day, he gonna get it. He gonna catch it. If he said that today, somebody gonna pick up the article and talk about Colonel Sanders, said some shit about that, and then what's gonna happen? He gonna get the backlash and then the plummets of his stock and all that other stuff. It's gonna happen. But you are in this present day, you with the background that you say that you come from Indiana, so you knew what it was. And so what we see is that that it was also the fact that that's what he had said. But it was a combination of both. It was about his kind of negative, nonchalant way of looking at the protest and its insignificance to him, but not from the position of those who were kneeling. Then topping on that, you get to saying that Colonel Sanders call black people niggas and don't get backlash. So that was another thing that added on to it, right? And so what you see is that people were just like, okay, well, you see places that had Papa John's name, like in Louisville, the university, there was like players, as you heard in the clips, it was like, no, anything with that, we ain't got nothing to do with it. They said the name. Now let's get this straight now. People were talking about the brand name. They weren't talking about the individual. Yes, he was the front man. He's the selling man. He's the man who's making the commercial that when you see him, you recognize the icon as associated with Papa John. But he is also the founder. He is the one, again, when he established the whole thing, as it talks about, from his father's tavern that he took was a closet and created and took and sold his car and got the 1600 and bought the equipment and started making the pizzas. And from that, it goes on, right? That was the beginning of all that. And so what you see is that now they end up, because of that, they felt that the company was damaged. So they were trying to repair it. So they seemed to have taken him down out of the chair. But again, is he still somewhere associated with it, right? Is he? Is he not? We don't really know all that. We just know that, again, what was in the public. And so what we see now, as of 2019, as of October 21st, we see that they are putting Shaq. Now, Shaq to me is kind of like the Bill Cosby. It's like he's trying to do what Bill Cosby did. He wants to be Mr. Huxtable, the huckster, the one that's about pushing and peddling products more than any other athlete. Because, Gold Bond and you name it, Shaq is on there, insurance, Shaq doing all that, right? And so I believe that the way they looked at it, because again, as you heard him speak in that interview with Michael Strahan, he says to the fact that now that Papa John is going to allow him to get on board as the first African American, they're trying to bring diversity. Now, this is after all that done took place, right? This is all that had done took place. Now, somebody came up with an idea. And we pretty much know, again, as we're talking about from a Bill Cosby perspective, somebody probably kind of came over and said, hey, I got a way to kind of revitalize. I done came up with some way, maybe we could do this, and this is how we could do this and revitalize that. Because again, if you done seen the video that I did about Shaq prior to that, they made sure they got hit and may do the same thing with this one as well, is that you heard in that interview he was doing on that morning show when he talked about with Colin Kaepernick. And how from his position, he said he wouldn't do what Colin Kaepernick did. He said there's a better way to do it. Then the question was posed to him, you, yes, are an African American, right? You ADOS, right? You ADOS. You said that your father was military and you're a cop. Can you do both? He said, yes, I can do both. So what is that when somebody say I can do both? Again, as the word of the Bible might tell you, you can't serve two gods. You're going to love one and hate the other. Need I say that again? You cannot serve two gods. You can only serve one God. You either going to love one and hate the other one. You're going to love that one and hate the other one. But you cannot serve two masters. So in this case, we have to ask, who's really the beneficiary of you trying to be the face to reinvigorate a franchise that, based on the position that it took, if we in unison says that we ain't fucking with it, who are you to come and try to say, I'm going to bring it so that you can have this as in my face? And I'm right. 800 franchises and you got 6 to 9 of them. So you coming in like, again, you believed you was Superman. Just think about that. Superman. Superman ain't black, man. Superman, kind of like Superman can't fly. Superman can't fly, right? Remember Chris Rock said that, right? So here it is, you and Dwight Howard done fought over who's going to be Superman. What is it that we just can't come up with our own? I mean, you and yourself, being what you was and what you had done was already a superhero. You don't need to put that dude, but again, I guess that time you was building yourself up to get to that part. We get that. We get all that. We get that. But again, it was fighting over being the moniker of something, again, always got to be the black version of a white, I would say idol or image. Black people fight over being the black version of a white image. So anyway, so based on also the simple fact that again, if you'd have seen that video that I did, Shaq is also part of the, he's in that club, right? He's in that fraternity, right? And so we had to say that, okay, now they're talking about HBCUs. We're going to put these pizzas and all there. There was going to be a place, and they've been feeding people. Well, they only been in the business, right? Like 97, right? And then I think the year after that, from 96, and then I think 97, they got about like 500 stores. So, 500 stores don't go all over. But again, they started slowly growing. That's why, again, that's not really the go-to pizzas that most people go, but they will go there if they got no other choice. But the fact is that Shaq decided that he's going to come in and he's going to revitalize it by using his image, his likeness, and then use, again, HBCU. So who are you propagating to, right? When you say the HBCUs, right? But HBCUs are in financial trouble. Right? They ain't got money. They need to be getting some money so that they can keep them schools open. And you saying, well, we're going to put these franchises there. And then it was slickly said, the way that the article put it, that we're doing the HBCUs and universities. I'm going to say that again. HBCUs and universities. So is this not just for blacks? Some people get so that's the whole point I'm trying to make. See, somebody don't seem to be directly for you. It seems like I'm all inclusive with everybody, and there's nothing wrong with that. But damn, look at the situation. I guess maybe you can't, because technically we have to say, are you really from the same place we from? You know what I'm saying? Are you really from the same place we from? Because again, okay, he was on the Army base, grew up on the Army base, you know what I'm saying? Then went to college, so okay, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you stuck, because I don't know. If you'd got there, if you came with, you know what I'm saying, you'd have been, big nigga down here robbing niggas up and all the good shit, you know what I'm saying? Who knows if you even got up out of there, right? But the fact that you did, so again, I'm not saying that you're not one of us. I'm just saying, I don't know if your struggle was as much as our struggle has been. So, and then the upbringing you got is from an individual who, again, when you go into the services, their job is to break you down from what you came in as, and then build you to the model they want you to be. Let me say that again. When you come into that organization to be a soldier, don't they break you down and then rebuild you to the model they want you to be? So that way that how we may see those who have not participated, mind is not completely solid on that, we may say we see the injustices and the things, and we will speak out on against them. We don't try to play the fence and try to do the both. Like we've seen one individual who gave money to the NAACP and money to the police department. Well, what side is you on? See, but that just, again, that makes you don't have to deal with what? The real issue. So that's the same thing. So we're going to say, because they put the lights and the camera on you, oh no, I wouldn't do what Colin would do. No, I'm not going to do what Colin do. I had to do it a better way. What better? I mean, we've seen the same thing when we seen somebody else, football player, went down there, get down on knees and pray and all that other stuff, but they told us a better way to do it. Everybody keeps saying a better way. But the only way is to put the light on the situation that what had been done, and then we see now, after all that been done, everything seemed to be coming in full circle. Because I was just reading that Colin Kaepernick, or at least they saying, they writing this, and this I think it came about two days ago? About 2 days ago. When they're talking about Colin Kaepernick, some people were trying to speculate whether he'd be a good pick to go to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, again, what has the ticket plummets of the NFL due to the simple fact, and what has the advertisement money been lost due to the simple fact of all this? And would it be better to now slowly implement him back in. We got Shaq coming over here who's going to be the face and try to get this Papa John popping back again. You get what I'm saying? Are you understanding what I'm saying? So again, is this really just an adventure investment for you? Because some of the stuff that he kind of said is, well, you know, those people in the 800 franchises, they didn't have nothing to do with this. But again, if your people saying, hey, man, we ain't with it, we ain't fucking with them, we against that. Why is it that it's so hard for people to be signing? Because it's kind of like I'm black when I gotta be black, and I'm not black on all that. I don't believe in that. Because again, everybody not cut from the same cloth. And we just got to be honest about that. So again, it's like saying it's not nobody counting nobody's body pocket. We just got to ask yourself. People said they not fucking with Papa John's. So if one was to go into invest and talking about you're going to do something good for HBCUs, if again, we done talked about that over here about HBCUs, are they really black colleges? Really are they? Or are they just these names that you say HBCUs, but are they really black colleges is another thing, right? And so if you're going to do some franchises, again, you're going to try to, reinvigorate, resurrect a company that basically is not really copacetic with your people. So why not, like, say, get in the franchise and build up something like a Sylvia's from Harlem. Put them down there, HBCUs. What about something like Roscoe Waffles and Chicken? You get what I'm saying? It's like everybody, like again, it's like you want to be you want to be the white version of something that already exists instead of being the original of who you are and create it and build it from the ground up. It's like you remember the Kool-Aid already pre-sweetened and all you got to do is add water? Well, that's what a lot of our people say they do. They want to do that kind of stuff. Just get something from the ground up or get something that's already kind of starting to help it get its way. You already a huckster. Can't you do, like I've seen some security things and stuff that people were doing at these little white companies? Oh, you had no problem with that. What about doing some of this other stuff with these other people, brothers and sisters, and helping them to get the... I'm not saying I know your portfolio of everything that you're doing, but I just see when I seen this here, I'm like, hey, maybe we just wasn't fucking with Papa John's and we just cut them off. And that just goes to show the power that we have when we just say collectively we ain't fucking with somebody. It don't need to bring one of us to come in and reinvigorate us and try to get us back into it. Once we say we ain't done with it, let it lie. You know what I'm saying? Let it be. But we see that you decide that you're going to go to Atlanta and you're going to get the Papa John's, and then that's how you're going to get in with Miles University, and y'all came with a grandiose ideal, and this is a way to get them back in the game. Right? For $8.5 million all in, give you some stocks investing into it, and then, hey, here you go, Shaq. Maybe it's me, it's Shaq. Right? Look, y'all, it's me, it's Shaq. You know who I am, right? So, again, it's just news, right? And I just wanted to bring it to you, and I just want to give you a little bit of the history to it as well. But the fact is, collectively, when we say we ain't fucking with no shit, I think collectively, everybody just gonna have to look at the shit and say, we ain't fucking with it, no matter how good the opportunity is for maybe a business. Because it's kind of like saying, fuck it, I'm gonna go there. It's if we say we ain't fucking with it, we can't, don't come and try to reinvent the wheel and resell us again, like I said, those who come out of them spots that I know that I come from, right? We got stores in our neighborhood that sell us already old expired shit and sell it to us at the price like it's brand new shit. And we be buying that shit. See? And we just got to get to the point that, hell no, we not buying that shit. We'll put your ass out of business because you ain't going to be selling that bullshit. Again, I'm your host, Mr. Blows Your Mind, and this has been a Black Minds News Report. So you tell me what y'all think, man, right? I just wanted to bring a little something to it, right? Again, I got no problem with the brother. Again, I think he said some things a little questionable on the aspect about when that took place. And from both sides, people may look at Colin Kaepernick's side and said that it was about a business opportunity for himself. Maybe, but it's not saying that the issue about what was taking place, that was still the problem that is still today, is not real. Now, whether people are not legitimate based on their stance, that's something they got to stand before on their day and what they had to deal with. But on the real platform of that, what that is about, we ain't playing with that. And if people business get hurt for the simple fact that they was outside of that, then let it be. Let it be what it got to be. right? So let me go ahead and you tell me what y'all think, if there's anything to be thought about it, right? Is that good? See if that's good. It's good? Yeah, it's good. Let's go. So, again, like the video, dislike the video, comment, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. Maybe there were some points in there that I didn't get, and I always don't give you everything. I guess, so you tell me what you think, if there's anything to be thought. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not what this is about. And I'm not saying that's not what he was doing. I'm just saying, in looking at the history that done took place, if it was dying because of a stance it took, it had nothing to do about you just saying the one part about Colonel Sanders said black people or niggas to black people need no backlash. The backlash didn't come because of what you said. It's about the other thing that you said about the stance that was being taken. And you think we forgot about that. Well, again, this is Black Minds News. And I want to thank each and every one of you for your participation. Again, when you see your brothers, greet your brother. What's good, brother? See your sister. What's good, sister? If you can't do that much, give a universal nod. Right? Understand that we is all we got. We got a lot of people who got allies. These people with these allies are going to have to ask these questions to these allies. One, when shit and if shit get hot, are you going to still be in the frying pan with us? Two, have you ever heard of John Brown? Is that something real or something that white people just told us to make us think that somebody black would go all out with him and his boys in seeking justice for the wrongness that's been happening to black Americans in this land? Understand, we're living at a time in the day that there's some people who seek for our demise. So it is incumbent that we, BADOS, ADOS, that we stay vigilant, mindful, cautious, and high spirit. Again, I'm your host, Mr. Blow Your Mind, and this has been the Black Minds News Report. And to the next show, and to the next show.